Do you want your water now?
I'm getting my water.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Hello and welcome back to Real Horror Show. I'm your host, Samantha, and I'm joined, as always, by the Stormy Skies.
Hello, listeners.
We were just catching up off mic because it's been 2 weeks since we recorded. Not our fault, just life.
Yes. Usually if we like skip a week or if our schedule is a little bit erratic, it's just life's fault, man. Like there's
Yeah.
nothing we could do about it. We're
Um,
just living in the world that
yeah.
is presented to us. Does that make sense? It's just the world and we're living in it.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
it's fall, so Stormy's back in school.
So
Well,
excited.
she never left school. She works at a university as well as working on her
Being in school.
PhD.
I just doubled down.
But it's fall, so she just got a lot busier.
Yeah, but also I feel that as fall is in the air and I feel like refreshed and like revitalized. You know
I
what I
agree.
mean?
I had my first pumpkin spice latte on the 25th, the day after they were released.
Yes.
It was delicious. I'm just glad it's fall now. I put out my fall decorations this morning.
I'm doing that this weekend, girl. Yes.
Swapped out my summer candles for my fall candles.
Yep, that's the way.
Have you tried the Starbucks pumpkin spice chai latte yet?
No, I haven't, but that's on my list to try next because I got my pumpkin spice on, I think the same day as you, the day after they came out with it, which was the 25th. And then I went back the other day, but I just got a pumpkin spice again. But I want to try their like apple thing, and then
I want to try their
chai.
apple croissant so bad, but it sold out at
Not
my
the apple
store.
croissant, the apple chai drink or whatever. But I do want to try
an
the
apple
pumpkin.
chai?
No, it's not an apple chai, Sam. It's something else.
Is it an
but
apple macchiato or something? I think I know what you're talking about.
Wait, I will tell you right this very moment. Just order no featured. Yes, iced apple crisp oat milk shaken espresso.
Ooh.
Yes, and then the pumpkin cream chai tea latte. Yeah, that sounds delicious, and that's like the top of my list next. Is it good, Sam? Try it.
I haven't tried it.
Oh, damn.
I've only had the pumpkin spice latte and the pumpkin chai, which was delicious.
The pumpkin chai was delicious. Okay,
yeah, I
yes,
got
yes,
it iced because it is still 80 degrees here.
Yep.
But they used the pumpkin cold foam, which I really like.
That was good. Okay, good.
Yeah. And then the rest of it's just delicious chai.
It's delicious. Okay, I'm gonna try it this weekend. Also, my local cafe just debuted their fall menu today, the first. So and their menu's so good too. So I'm just gonna drown in pumpkin spice, and I'm so excited to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, time of my life right now. So
yep. But I'm going to find myself next summer in the same predicament I'm in every summer. Mm-hmm. That makes me cry because it stresses me out is I don't have a lot of clothing for summer.
Oh, man.
As my style gravitates towards fall items and being cozy.
Yeah.
So I have like 5 dresses. So by the time the weekend rolls around and it's time to make plans and hang out with friends, I don't know what the fuck to wear. It's 90 degrees outside. I'm dying.
And it's like the same 5 dresses. So you're like, I guess I'll wear the same thing I wore last weekend.
Yeah, I didn't see them on Monday, so I'll just go ahead and rewear this.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah. But anyway, with the fall comes horror, and we're gonna try something new because of the SAG-AFTRA and WGA strike. We're gonna talk about some horror shorts that are highly regarded on the internet based on 5 minutes I did on Reddit. Nice. But two of them actually have gone on to be really popular, well-liked full-length horror movies. But I do have some good news about possible movies we should be fine reviewing / promoting. I don't it's a weird gray area. I know a lot of our review friends are still reviewing movies and proceeding as usual with conscious effort towards the strike. Mm-hmm. But I feel like I'm in a tough place because I am pre-union
Yeah.
I could join the WGA if I wanted to. I just don't want to get blacklisted if I ever choose to. So,
Yeah.
but AMC is not a part of the AMPTP, whatever the acronym is. So they
Okay.
should be okay. It should be okay for us to review independent Shudder exclusives.
Nice. All right, cool.
So that's opened up a bunch of new horror movies for us to continue reviewing. And also, I was just going to say, I think Shudder has a lot of the Ringu movies, the original
Nice.
Ring series, which I've never
Cool.
watched
Me
Ringu.
neither. Yeah.
But I was going to suggest that for a future review. Um,
Excellent.
yeah.
Love it.
So that's a relief. I finally looked into that. But it's also good for us to review some YouTube shorts because it's the most accessible horror content in video format.
Oh yeah,
And
absolutely. There's so much out there.
a lot of these directors have gone on to do good movies.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna just start talking about the one I liked the least.
Wait, and so I'm not going to look at your notes, and I can't wait to see if we have like the same notes written.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to see if you and I liked the same one the least.
Yeah. And I think since these are shorts, we don't have to abide by our usual format.
I agree.
Because
Yeah.
a common staple I noticed with horror shorts that I didn't notice years ago when I just watched them intermittently.
Uh-huh.
There's not a lot of dialogue in horror shorts, especially when they get shorter.
Right. There's basically like none almost. Which is cool.
So my least favorite was It Had Pale Skin.
Yes. Same.
It's definitely something that would have gotten me in high school when this was kind of YouTube was still new and growing and people were using it to put out content like this. But I did not like how dark it was.
Yes. I only have 2 notes for this one, and the first one is all caps and it says not great. So I was like, the fuck? Oh God.
No, it was just, I think if they lightened it a bit so there was like any semblance of anything,
location. Yeah, like location and stuff.
Location, that would have helped me like it better.
Yeah.
But it's unbelievably dark. This girl is walking in party attire, so she's not going to be out in the woods where it would be that dark. And even if she was in the woods, it's never really that dark once your eyes adjust. There's the moon, there's the stars.
Yes, and they did emphasize, I think, that the moon was out, so it should have been like pretty bright.
And then the balls keep showing up.
Yeah.
They
keep like rolling near her feet, and she's like,
the phone call was pretty creepy, but it went on for a little while too long. In a 4 minute,
to her dad or something.
Yeah, in a 4-minute horror short. Yeah. And the jump scare at the end was pretty good, I guess. But
yeah.
I don't know. I don't like how dark it was. And I was reading through the comments and a lot of people did like that.
Oh, I can't see.
Yeah.
I can't be scared if I don't know what's going on. Just feel disoriented.
There's just a lack of like location setup for me.
Yeah. Yes.
It felt empty.
Yeah. And like I suppose that the just it in the video, she's just walking home at night, I guess, like from a party, and that's kind of all we know. And then she like calls her dad to come pick her up, but like the phone reception is bad or whatever, and she's getting these little balls rolled near her feet and she doesn't know where they're coming from and they're scaring her. So I don't know, it's just like that whole thing. And the jump scare was, I'm glad, I knew there would be one because of how dark it was, you know what I mean? You're kind of like anticipating that. But then I wrote like, why is it a clown for my other note? Do you agree? You know what I mean? I was like, I don't understand.
I mean, with
like,
the title, It Had Pale Skin, I was expecting
a vampire.
Right? Something like that, or
like
even a Slender Man knockoff.
Yeah, that makes more sense. Or like a ghost. I don't know, something like that. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was a clown from the circus. And it had the balls that were rolling towards her were like balls that were like squeaky balls that when you squeeze it, it was like like the clown noise. So
Oh, and she picked up one of the balls and got scared. Why was the ball
yeah,
scary? I couldn't really tell why it was
I don't know.
scary.
I thought that they were balls from like a dog
Hmm.
because she was like a toy, but they were like scaring her, and she just but mostly what she just did was like walk down the street,
Hmm.
and it was like her heels were clicking, and that's like the only sounds you could hear.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
I was just like, whatever.
I think the idea was there, but when you put it up against the other four that we watched,
Not a
it's
chance.
not as good.
Yeah.
Which
Good
leads me
effort.
leads me into my second least favorite,
All
which
right.
was well made, After Hours, which
Okay.
was
Yeah.
the winner of 5 horror awards.
Which ones? I'm pretty surprised because that one
I think
wasn't
they were
that
a bunch
good.
of independent film festival
Nice.
awards.
Cool.
As an indie film writer, there are so
Yeah.
many film festivals, and they do hand out awards kind of like candy.
I see.
That's not to discredit the hard
Yeah.
work that goes into it, but
Yeah, of course.
some awards aren't weighted as or regarded as highly as like if they had the accolade from Sundance or Cannes.
Yeah.
I thought this was fine. I was a little
Yeah.
underwhelmed because the after hours late shift concept has been done a lot in the horror genre.
Yeah, I
Um,
agree. Yeah, it
what's that
has.
horror movie about a security guard? She's working the late shift. Is it just
Mm.
called Late Shift
Ooh, it
or
depends. Maybe
left?
there is late shift. Yeah, I can look that up.
Where there's like some satanic shit going on, and that one I know is getting a remake, not
Last
a
shift. Last shift?
Last Shift. Yes,
Okay.
that is getting a remake from the same director. I guess he knew he could have done it
Done
better, so he's remaking it.
it.
Um,
Doesn't have very good ratings, so I'm glad he's
yeah,
trying again.
yeah. So just having seen Last Shift, I know this
Yeah.
concept has been done before and it's been done better, and it didn't really do anything to elevate this particular type of horror movie.
Yes. And I feel like at this point in our lives, with like the culture of like this work-life balance that's really being like but it's like really like coming to be. I feel like like the clock's at 11 p.m., which I wrote is very late to be at your job.
Mm-hmm.
If you, I'm just assuming that this person worked in the morning too. And then later I wrote, why the F would you stay until 3 a.m.? She's just editing videos.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I was like, just go home. So I really think that it was excessively late to be at
Which
work.
is probably the scariest part of this whole thing is the lack of work-life balance.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, why are you? Everyone left, and it's 11 o'clock, and then you're still there at 3 in the morning. Like, girl, just live there,
Yeah.
and you're just working on a laptop. Like, it can't be that important. Like,
I also felt that this didn't really have an ending.
yeah, it was a huge cliffhanger, which I believe we watched like the that this was like the introduction almost. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if I looked it up, this hasn't been expanded into a feature-length film, but I could see it going that way. I imagine the
Yeah.
intention with all of these short movies is the director wants to do a feature length. That's how a lot of directors get started, is by doing short films that get them the funding they need to do their first feature length film. I
Yeah.
know Scorsese has a 15-minute short film that's available on HBO Max. It was the first movie he did, and it's just a guy shaving his face until everything is covered in blood.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah.
How cool. Wow. I
So
love Scorsese. What a genius.
it's
But yeah,
I
no,
guess
it's a cool concept. This
yeah.
is.
So
Yeah.
if it is a woman director, I looked it up. So
Okay.
I wish her the best. We need more of those in the horror genre.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like a woman could really take this and just make it like so fucked up and awesome. I
Mhm.
wish they would just go for it, like go girls. But I
Yeah,
do
because
have,
especially being a
yeah,
woman working that late at night.
that's what I'm saying. You have so many different opportunities. And I do feel like today, this would be actually a pretty interesting concept because of the work-life balance thing where people are leaving at 4 o'clock and they're not trying to work any longer than they need to in their 8 hour day. So I feel like this person, if they're like a workaholic, it would kind of make sense to like play with that perspective a little bit and then have that commentary on like you're being punished for like not just fucking working the minimum amount you need to. So now you're going to like be afraid or die or like deal with a intruder or something like that, something scary. So it's kind of cool actually.
Hmm.
Like here's what happens if you overwork yourself. Someone's gonna come at you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do have two more notes on this real quick before we move on. Is why not call the police saying that there is an intruder after looking at like the cameras at 3 a.m. and you know someone is there? Like, wouldn't you like call someone?
Oh, absolutely.
I would be so scared.
At 3 a.m., no one else has any
Yeah,
business being in that building. I would immediately call the police and
yes.
lock the door.
That's what I'm saying. And I would be like terrified because like no one's gonna wake up to come help you, like your coworkers, because they're not your bugs, they're just like your work people. So they're not gonna like come out.
Hmm.
So that's also another scary thing. But I do have one other note, and this is not in regards to like the plot or anything. It's just in regards to like YouTube shorts. I've noticed that a couple of these, there's no closed captioning available. And I guess
Mm,
that's because to like keep you so it doesn't say at the bottom like big noise or like, it doesn't like let
yeah.
you know early that there might be a jump scare. But as someone who loves closed captions, I was struggling. I really wanted to turn them on, but there weren't any for a couple of these. One
Yeah.
or two had them, I think it was like 50-50 split. So
So
that was an
that's
interesting thing.
that's a super interesting point because it had Pale Skin, After Hours, and Man on a Train. All of these have were
Yes.
uploaded like between 5 and 7 years ago.
Yeah.
And with YouTube, since the user is the one uploading the content,
Hmm.
you either turn on auto captioning, which can be terrible, it's better than nothing.
Yeah.
Um, or you have to upload the transcript yourself
Right.
and time it
Yes.
out. And that's why
Hmm.
I don't do a whole lot of video promos, even though I want to. It's just to have the captioning and have it done right.
Oh, it
Um,
takes time.
it takes time,
Yeah.
and I just always run out of time
That's
sometimes.
okay.
Um,
Yeah.
but that's super interesting because they wrote the script. Obviously there's a movie that exists, so a script exists, so at that point you would really just copy and paste
I
your
agree. And
scripted.
also, there's not a lot of dialogue as it is. So I feel like for these, it could be kind of an easy, quick thing to do in a couple minutes, maybe. Um, but Man on a Train had closed captioning. It did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, that's all
Which
my notes on After Hours.
Yeah, which let's talk about Man on a Train because I did really like Man on a Train.
Yeah, so we're getting up to our like number three, and then we'll do number two, number one.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Um
I liked it too.
yeah, it was super simple, lack of dialogue, but we have a setting. We're on a train. We can
Yes.
see we're on a train. It's a single woman on a train
Yep.
and a
I
creepy
can.
guy on a train. And
Yes. Yeah.
if you
And
live in a
yeah.
major metro area, you've probably been in the situation where you're the only one on a metro
Oh,
cart.
that's scary. But
And
yeah, that can happen. Oh yeah.
and
Scary.
I was looking through the comments on this one too, and someone said, sometimes humans moving in ways humans shouldn't is scarier than gore and ghosts. And
Yes.
I agree.
Yeah. Like unnatural things that just, like make you uncomfortable. And like because it's like inhuman. So it just makes like
Mhm.
your skin crawl. So that's a really
Yeah.
cool scary aspect that's really not explored all that much.
Hmm.
Not really in your face too
I feel
much.
like
Yeah.
that kind of falls into the uncanny valley territory where
Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking, and you're right. Yes.
where there's a threshold for animation.
Hmm.
And we're
Yeah.
fine looking at something like Disney's Frozen, where super exaggerated features of a human face, we recognize that it's a cartoon. but Disney's biggest flop, I think it was called Mars Needs Alien, was done with mocap, and it is just grossly uncanny valley.
Whoa, yeah.
And a lot of video games use uncanny valley, and I don't have that same issue with video games as I do movies.
That's because in a video game, like I don't know the concept of that, but it's a whole different like way of thinking about what you're doing.
Yeah.
Right? But in a movie,
it's probably something like that. In a movie, you're trying to immerse yourself. So if if it's floating in this weird middle of not being real, but being too realistic looking to be a cartoon.
Yes. Yeah. And it's like looking at pictures of those like AI generated people, that they're trying to put together these images that they think is what a person looks like. And there are little things that like when you look at an image, you just right away like know like this isn't quite right, but I can't put my finger on what's wrong. And that's what that is when this person is moving in a way that is not quite right, but you can't put your finger on what is wrong with it, but you just know that's wrong. So that's cool. It's scary.
And then when she looks between the seats and he's doing the same thing, I was like, I don't like that.
That was a really great shot.
Because his face is all wrong.
Yes, I actually went back, but that's the only problem about like YouTube is it's too easy to pause and like go back and like drag the thing. So I went back and dragged it because I was like, is it makeup or are they obscuring his face as a mask? And I actually noticed, Sam, that it looks to me like it's just like he's wearing like makeup or something, and there might be like some type of a filter over his face in that moment, but it's really cleverly done. Just
I thought it was really subtle, and I liked it better than if they did some big jump scare.
Right. That was scary enough.
It was much more unsettling. Like it felt more real. Like a lot of people could have that encounter.
Yeah, the more I think about this, the more scary I think it is because it is so realistic, because like it could just happen to you, because like there are people that are creepy, and even if they're not trying to like be like malicious, they could just be too close to you and it would make you like creeped out. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, so it happens. I did have a note I wrote, is the train going or no? Because I couldn't tell if it was like moving actually.
I think we're supposed to believe it is, but it's okay. Since probably this was probably a lower budget probably not horror movie, it can be difficult to make it look like a train is actually moving.
Yeah.
I remember watching the director's commentary of Rent. They explained how it works, and it's just you have the train cart on kind of a moving platform that rocks back and forth like the subway would.
Yeah.
And then you have lights going rhythmically on the outside to fake that. So that can be pretty expensive.
Oh, that makes sense. I think it was because the lights weren't going on the outside. So there was like, I was like, I don't know if it's still, they're just like waiting for more people to get on the train, which could have been that too. But that was my only note. And then I said that I see he has like haunted house makeup on. I did say that he kind of reminds me of like looking like Neo from the Matrix with like a white t-shirt on, because it looked like he had like sunglasses on at one point, and it just like was reminiscent of like the Matrix look, with like the sleek look that's very clean, which also is kind of like an uncanny valley thing. You look a little bit too tight and too sleek to be like a human person. It's almost like this was like an alien disguised as like what a human should look like, what they think they should look like. But yeah, that's all my notes. It did have closed captioning though, so I did hear the conversations of the other passengers before they disappeared. It is good.
All right, so what was your number 2?
Really difficult to choose, but I think Heck was my number 2.
Ooh. Yeah, I don't know where I would rank Heck, so let's go ahead and talk about Heck.
Okay.
Going into this, I didn't realize that this absolutely was the precursor to Skinamarink.
Yeah,
I probably should have, because I researched Skinamarink, but I liked it better.
Me too. I liked it better.
Yeah.
I wrote like Skinamarink but better ?
Yeah.
I guess I was questioning it. Yeah.
Because I just think I was reading through the comments to figure out why I liked it better, and there was a really good one, and he explained just said this hit him really hard because he grew up with an alcoholic mother. So he really resonated with this child.
Yeah.
Calling out to his mom, doing good things to try and get her attention, and then acting out to get her attention, and everything like from the toys scattered around, the TV always being on, the dark house. It hit him really hard.
Yeah.
And I think it was also the lack of the weird supernatural element.
Yes.
That grounded this a lot more. And the fact that it was implied to be like a single mother and a single child in a house together versus
a family.
Yeah. With how brief Heck is compared to Skinamarink, Heck can get away with the lack of establishment better.
Right. It just makes sense because how long is Heck? Like
it was
20
just
minutes?
It was under 30 minutes.
Under 30 minutes.
I think it was 28 minutes.
20. Okay. Yeah. You're right. Which worked better, much better.
And one of our biggest complaints with Skinamarink is it was so long.
Too long. Yeah. Too long. And then just like, I understand that there's like got to be some time passing in between, but we don't have any semblance of how much time is passing like we do in Heck, which I think does really well. So there's good and bad to that, but I think I prefer Heck because we did get the timestamps, which was even more terrifying, I think. And I think that really made a bigger impact to know how much time did pass.
Yeah. And now I like this director. I hope he goes on to have a really good career. I've wanted to DM him, but he turned off his DMs once Skinamarink blew up, which I understand.
I get it. Yeah.
But no, like he had a really good vision with this short film. I know his goal with Skinamarink and a lot of his other stuff is to create nightmares in video form. And he does a really great job at that.
Yes. Yeah. And I look forward to seeing more stuff because I want to be able to have that connection that other people are having where they're like, dang, this really brought up a lot of stuff for me. And I'm just like on the verge. I was on the verge of that a little bit with like some of these, but I think I'm still waiting on another one that's tailored to a little bit of a different experience, which is cool. Like, I hope he's open to having all of these opportunities to do more movies like this.
Yeah. Awesome. And I think he will. He has a great, unique vision. And I think we touched on this with Skinamarink it seems like his movies are a very personal experience.
Yeah. Yes, I would say so. Yeah.
And that's what made Skinamarink so divisive is you either get it or you don't.
Yes. Yeah, that's absolutely correct. And it's not the movie's problem. It's actually like your own personal life experiences. You know what I mean? So you just have to wait until the next one. You have to keep trying them out to see if you are identifying with any of the themes in the movie.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And that's what watching movies is, though, isn't it?
And I think it takes a very talented director to accomplish that.
Yes. And to be able to do it in such a way where it's not like this dramatic, crazy, in your face, like terrifying, traumatic thing like people's childhoods maybe were, but it's so subtle and drawn out and quiet. But it's making these people dredge up these bad experiences that were like the worst times of their lives. And that's really something.
And that's what horror is.
That's what horror is. And I think that we're starting to see like the new era of like what horror can be. Like it can be we can go even further with it and really tailor it to like your worst nightmare, which is real life. You know what I mean? Like your real life and your trauma.
Yeah.
Let me see. What kind of notes do you have?
I pretty much got through them. What hit me the hardest?
Yeah.
I pointed out in my notes that this didn't have a strong supernatural element to it like Skinamarink does.
Yes.
But then the child says, "I'm sorry, I got cancer."
Yeah, I have a note about that too.
And I was like, holy shit, what if he's the ghost? And that's the reason his mom can't hear him, is because he died and she's just spiraling out of control. Or even if he didn't die, like having a child go through that could send a parent over the edge. And it was just like, holy shit, that just hit me harder than I expected it to.
That's a really good point that I didn't even consider at all, is that what if he's the one that's dead and she can't hear him, and then he can't hear her speak to him because she can't hear him. That is a really good point. I did make a note that said, it's because I don't know, I must have been like not really trying to think this through when I watched it, because it was the first one I watched. It says, what does cancer have to do with this? And I suppose a lot, but it kind of came out of nowhere for me. But what you just said makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. But then I also wrote, I was reading the YouTube comments like you did too. I think I only read them for this one and for Piggy, but for someone was saying like the maybe the mom has cancer or the kid has cancer. They're like speculating about that. So I was writing about if the mom has cancer, like, is that why she's a decomposed corpse and she's rotting in there or whatever, if that was what that was. But yeah, what you said really makes sense to me now, is like, what if he's the one that's dead? Oh my God.
But Kyle Edward Ball, that's the director of Heck and Skinamarink. I think he has a very strong future ahead of him in the horror genre, and I'm excited to see what he keeps doing.
Yes, yeah, I agree. This was a really good, like a good short. And I did have like other notes about it, like in this short, the way that time is like being, the way that time is passing is every couple minutes in the movie, there'll be a slide that says like one sleep later. You know what I mean? So like whether that's a day or whether it's like a nap or whatever it is. So if you do the math, it's this child is in a nightmare, we're assuming, and toward the end it's like however many thousand days, so it's 51 years if you calculate that, stuck in a nightmare. And what hit me the hardest was like the last line where he goes to his mother's room or calls out to her whether she's alive or dead, and he says like, Mom, I think we're in hell. And that, I guess that's why it's called Heck.
Yeah.
And
his voice is distorted and he sounds older.
Voice distortion. So everyone was writing about the voice distortion. I was like, okay. So I listened to it, I think like 3 or 4 times. And the more I listened to how like subtly the voice distortion turns his voice to like, from like a child to like an adult man a little bit, but also like a distorted adult male voice, is extremely chilling. And I think that is such a gem that I just want to see 1,000 of those moments in more movies like this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
However, I did like get into my own head, and I wrote this note and I said, how old is the kid when this first starts? And then I said, how does he have a concept of hell unless that means he is from a religious family? And that could be like an even deeper layer of things. But yeah, those are all the notes I had for that. But
weren't you raised Catholic? Don't they like instill the fear of hell in you at like the youngest age possible?
They do. And I wrote this because, and it wasn't like Skinamarink, where Skinamarink showed like the walls and stuff a lot, but it didn't show the walls too much. I was expecting to see like maybe like religious icons or like crosses or whatever. So maybe it is like, he does have a concept of hell, because if you're raised Catholic like I am, or other people, like you immediately just know what it is from a young age, unfortunately. So you're afraid to be bad.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I think it was the cancer thing, the way you described it, and then the ending is really something else. And 51 years, like, Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah.
Fucked up.
All right. So last but not least is Piggy, which out of the list, I think Skinamarink is the newest of the two. I can look up the
Or you mean
release date.
heck is?
Yeah, I think, well, no, just to get a full length adaptation.
Oh, okay.
Or be
Yes.
expanded into a feature film.
Yes, yes.
So I did start watching the feature film Piggy, but I selected the dub because that was what Hulu was pushing out.
Yeah, where is this originated from?
It is a Spanish language horror movie.
Spanish. Okay.
Let me check which part of the Spanish speaking regions. It just says Spanish. Spain.
Spain.
It is actually Spain. And from what I was able to watch, because the dub of Piggy is horrible, please look for the subbed version.
Yeah.
I don't know why people don't try harder. If they're gonna dub a movie, do it good.
Yeah, I know. Come on, guys.
But so the opening of the feature-length film is the short film, essentially.
Cool.
So I don't know beyond that how it was expanded.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, I like Piggy a lot. I like how she doesn't speak, but we know exactly what's going through her head. She's just trying to have a nice day at the swimming hole, and these bitches come and start calling her Piggy and tormenting her. There was a weird guy in the pond who was there because he was hiding a body underwater.
Yep.
Which is great.
Yep, that's just great.
Just keep that in mind when you're swimming in lakes. You never know what's hiding underneath. I think there's a lake in Minnesota where someone put a statue of Jason Voorhees underwater.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
So the girls bully her.
They like steal her. They like take her stuff.
They steal her stuff.
Fucked up.
So she has to walk home in her jelly sandals.
Dude, they like push her head down with the net.
Yeah. They basically try and kill her. Like they take bullying to a whole new homicidal level.
I know. What
the fuck? And so the serial killer is what we learn the guy is because he just hid that body underwater. He sees this, and as she's walking home, he pulls up beside her and lets the main bully call for help. And then she just waves to the killer and he drives off. Yeah,
but he gives her stuff back.
He gives her the stuff back.
He got it for her.
He's a malevolent. He's
great. He doesn't like to. He probably was bullied too, and he doesn't like that. He kills bullies probably. But also in between those things, she was like walking home, but all she has is her bikini and her jelly sandals, and fucking dudes roll up behind her on the road, and like, of course they have to like grab her and like call her names and stuff, and then scare her and then drive off. But it's like, damn, like you don't have to do that. She's just trying to like get home, and then the bad man comes, but he doesn't get her. He just shows her that he has captured her bully in the back, gives her things, and she waves him. The wave is like, it's definitely saying like, I won't say anything. Like, thank you. Yeah. Like, I appreciate this. Okay. We can go on separate ways now. Yeah. So after she pisses herself, which is cool too.
Yeah. It falls into, I would probably classify this as a subsect of the rape and revenge horror genre. While she wasn't sexually assaulted by the girls, there's definitely that same element that we see in movies like Last House on the Left and I Spit on Your Grave is the other big one. I've
never seen the original Last House on the Left.
It's good. It's good.
Yeah, I heard it was good. That's Wes Craven, isn't it?
It's his first movie.
Dirty Dog. Rest in peace. But he rest in peace. Oh my God. It's been like 8 years or something since he's passed.
But one thing I noticed in comparison, I like the film style of the short better than what I remember of the feature length. It's a little too crisp for my liking in the feature length.
Yeah.
And I think the short, the camera they used or the filter they put over the film kind of help set up how kind of humid and muggy it is outside. Did a good job building that environment.
Yeah, I agree. I wrote only 2 notes, and now that you said that they're at a lake, I feel dumb because I said, what the fuck is with the pool? Why is the water green?
I'm
I thought it was a
pretty
pool.
sure it's a lake or a swimming hole. I
It's a
don't
swimming
think
pool.
it's a pool, or it's one of those natural pools that people are all the hype about right now.
Right. And it looked really nice and refreshing. And it had the pool ladder on the side. So I thought it was like a pool that nobody was at, but then the man was there. And when she swam underwater, there was like stuff, like just stuff in there. But then the body was in there. I was like, I feel gross because I immediately picture the body like getting bloated, like decomposing, and like I don't know, just like gross stuff. I'm like, ew, she's
And you got a fucking cabin fever on you.
Oh, I know. I was like, that's gross. Oh my god. Anyway, the other point of the movie is yes, so the movie is called Piggy because this is like what's the most appropriate way to term it? Like she's an overweight young girl.
Yeah, she's overweight. She's chubby.
So she's the curvy big girl, but she's a young girl. So they're like middle school or something, I would say. Not even high school, maybe high school.
Middle school, early high school.
And so she is at the pool and she has on like a white bikini, but I feel like she's actually looks pretty great. She's like kind of rocking the bikini. But she's a champ. She does the whole movie in the bikini. You guys, could you do that? Like, I don't think I could. You know what I mean? So she is a champ because one, she does it in the bikini, and then two, she doesn't have to even speak, but we are able to understand everything that's going on. She doesn't have to say anything. So good on her. She was great. And also I agree with like the rape revenge thing. This is almost like one of those like once removed, like 1 degree of separation rape revenge things because like it was done for her, but she is not protesting.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I think I have this one as like my favorite out of the bunch.
Yeah. I can see why. It's a very well made short.
Yeah.
But I think that's all I have. We've been recording for a hot minute.
Oh, really?
Hot minute. Also, really quick note, not to make it into a whole conversation because that's for next week. I didn't give you ample warning about anime openings.
Yeah.
And so one thing I've noticed about anime openings throughout my life is they're more symbolic representations of what the show is about than just here's a cool song and who's in the show, like American shows.
Right, yes.
So the first arc of Death Note, because the opening will change, I think 3 times in the 36 episode span. The first half is all about becoming a god and what is a god to a non-believer. So you get all this biblical imagery. But that's just the one thing I wanted to clarify.
Well, thank you. Yes, I don't mean to tease you on Messenger about it because you didn't make the show, Sam, and if it's okay. It's okay if I think it's silly.
And also because you do listen with do watch with subtitles. If you're watching on the app we're not supporting,
yes.
They have 2 separate English subtitles. One is for if you're watching Japanese.
Yeah. I noticed that.
Okay, so you want to swap over to the right one because
yes, I did. I noticed that there was something strange about one.
Yeah, one is just the direct translation of what they're saying in Japanese.
Yes.
And the other is like the actual English translation or the actual script they used in English.
Yeah, I have the English translation on and the English, not the English dub, but it's just like the English translation with them speaking Japanese because I did try to do the other one and I was like, why are they saying different words than the subtitles? I'm like, so my brain was getting confused.
Yeah, no, that's an annoying thing that Netflix does, and I think they do it for every international language show and movie is you either have the translation subtitles or you have the direct like script subtitles from when they did the dub.
I thought I was freaking out, but then I was like, wait, no, there's a language thing here. So I just changed it. So thank you.
No, it's a very subtle difference. And I noticed that too when I started rewatching.
It was funny though. But I watched 1 episode so far, Sam. But I'm so sorry. I only watched 1 because Well, they're about 30 minutes. And then I watched the one, and then I was going to watch a second that same evening, this like a week or so ago. And I did not, but I made sure I tried to get in all the YouTube stuff because I was going to record with you. But then things happened with my cat, and then you were leaving for Alexandria and stuff like that. So it kind of got like lost in the shuffle. But I will double down. And how many did I say I was going to watch? At least 5 episodes?
Yeah, we can do at least 5.
Can we just do 5? Okay, thank you. And I will watch 4 more, and then I will be prepared for next Friday.
Right.
Yeah. Watching these YouTube shorts is actually nice.
Yeah, it was fun. We'll work them in more.
All right, cool. That sounds awesome.
Yeah. But if you want to rattle off our end notes real quick.
Snap, you are right. I almost forgot that this was a full-length show.
This is an official episode.
Dang. Well, let me get my official outro, which so psyched to read it again because it's all fresh and shiny and new. All right. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Okay. Thanks for tuning into our episode. We are the Real Horror Show podcast. Our host is Sam Odie, and I'm the co-host, Stormy Skies. The podcast was created by Sam Odie and Stormy Skies and is directed, edited, and produced by Sam Odie. You can find Sam on Instagram at Oh Hi, I'm Sam. And you can find Stormy on Instagram at The Stormy Skies. You can find the Real Horror Show podcast on Spotify, TuneIn, iTunes, Google Play Store, Pandora, and anywhere you like to stream your podcast. Don't forget to hit subscribe so you're always in the know when a new episode comes out. Follow us on social media. You can find the Real Horror Show podcast on Instagram, Threads, TikTok, Facebook, and yes, Twitter too, which is now called X. Whatever you like, you can find us there. Yeah. We do more than just podcasts. We love to write and have plenty of great movie reviews and essays, all of which can be found on our website, realhorrorshow.com. We love hearing from our listeners. You can ask us a question or send us a movie request to review by DMing us on social media, or you can even send us an email at realhorrorshowpodcast@gmail.com. And you can send us little essays. There is an essay that I still need to take a look at before we post it, but thank you. We are welcome to all of your creativity. Call for guests. Do you love horror movies? Are you a podcaster, a content creator, a movie lover, or anyone in between who is listening to our show? We would love to have you as a guest on one of our episodes. Reach out to us via social media DM or email us at realhorrorshowpodcast@gmail.com. Our podcast episodes featuring guests are all listed on our website, realhorrorshow.com. We are so thankful for all of our listeners. You are the life force of our podcast, and we wouldn't really exist without you. Thank you all for making this podcast real and supporting us as we record every week, or we try to every week. You can support us in different ways, such as liking and sharing our podcast episodes on social media. Giving us a review will help the podcast more than you know, and will help other listeners find it too. You can also donate to Real Horror Show by visiting our support page on our website, where you can make a one-time donation via PayPal, buy us a coffee with the Buy Us a Coffee button, or explore our very interesting Amazon wish list. The Real Horror Show podcast stands behind SAG-AFTRA and WGA as they strike. If you want to support the WGA and SAG-AFTRA, then consider donating to the Entertainment Community Fund, which supports those who are out of work. You can also donate to other funds benefiting actors, writers, and crew members using the links found in the episode notes. Whew, any other pertinent news, Sam?
I don't think I have any right now.
I don't either, other than like pumpkin spice lattes are out now. It's fall now, guys. So it's like spooky season. So like get ready for Sam and I to ramp it up with the horror movies. All right.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And we have a really exciting special surprise for you that's going to come out towards Halloween time. So stay tuned for that. That'll be cool.
Oh God, do we?
Yes, I think I'll have to remind you of it because I just remembered it myself just this moment. But when I remind you, you're like, oh, we have that.
Okay.
Anyway, our outro song is called Creepy Doll by Jonathan Colton, and he can be found at jonathancolton.com. Thank you. Fuck off and have a swell evening. This is Real Horror Show signing off.
Bye.
Bye bye.
And there's a creepy doll that